You don't create wealth by inflation or by having, you can move it around, but you don't create it by inflation.
Just like Warren Buffett said, wealth is not created by printing a whole lot of money. In 2020 and 2021, countries all over the world, including the United States, printed a lot of money with the aim of helping businesses and giving people more money. And you know what's really unfortunate? We're now paying the hefty price for all that reckless money printing. The value of our beloved dollar has taken a nosedive, leaving us with shrinking wallets and a whole lot of frustration. Nowadays, feels like everything under the sun is getting pricier by the minute. From groceries to rent to a simple meal out, the costs just keep climbing. It's like we're caught in an endless cycle of financial woes. But fear not. What you want to do is get a little bit of financial education to know what's going on and how to profit from it, which we will cover in this video. Here are 3 ways the system has been playing tricks on you and how you can turn the tables of your financial freedom around. First, let's examine the reasons for the current period's sky-high inflation. Most of us think about prices going up when we try to picture what inflation is. When purchasing a pound of boneless chicken, I noticed that the price had increased from $3.41 to $4.33. Or, when I got to Supreme Shop, I now had to pay $150 for a pair of Jordans instead of $130. But this isn't what inflation is about.
World War II, you got a lot of money created, and people couldn't buy cars, and they couldn't buy refrigerators, and they couldn't even buy as much sugar or coffee or things as they wanted. They had little stamps and gasoline and all kinds of things. Well, eventually, you get a lot of money in people's hands, and you don't have very many goods, prices go up.
According to Warren Buffett, inflation occurs when the value of currency decreases, resulting in a reduction of purchasing power. You can think of it as a downgrade in the status of your money. Now, imagine having a $50 bill, but it doesn't buy as much as it used to. So you need more money to get the same things you wanted before. You could also compare it to supply and demand. When you don't have that many dollars, each dollar is worth a lot because there aren't that many of them. But now, if you make a lot more dollars and everyone has a lot of them, each dollar isn't worth as much because there are so many of them.
Essentially, money doesn't cost anything, and you can print lots of money. And
like Buffett said, printing money costs next to nothing. I mean, the dollars you use are just pieces of paper. Can you believe that a $50 bill costs 19 cents to print? Yeah, I'm absolutely right. You see, the value of your money doesn't come from the money itself, but because the government says so. The government says that dollars are our legal currency, which means we can use them to buy and sell things. It's a good thing because I can go to a store and see that this pound of blueberries will cost me $5. And I have no trouble figuring out what $5 is today. I can just give them $5 if I want to buy this. So that's why it's a good thing to have this kind of cash. The bad thing is that the value of your dollar is kind of set by someone else. You don't have any say over how many dollars are out there. Let's say you have $300,000 in your bank account. Well, the real value of this $300,000 depends on how many dollars are in circulation in our economy. If there are a lot of dollars in the economy, your $300,000 won't buy as much as it would if there were fewer.
The household wealth of the United States, Federal Reserve puts out an estimate, it's 130 trillion or something like that. So basically, you've doubled the household wealth. And all you've done is mail out people. But then you don't tell them you're doing it with everybody. You just say they won the lottery or whatever it may be. Well, what's going to happen? Well, prices are going to go up.
And this is what's happening currently. After the Federal Reserve Bank made trillions of dollars out of thin air and dumped the funds into the economy. Now, this was good for the economy in the short term as many people got a lot of money very quickly. But now, there was a lot more money in circulation. And once it started moving around, the value of each dollar started to go down. This made things like groceries, rent, and food more expensive. Recently, I read a CNBC story that talks about Costco and how the prices of their goods are going up. The CFO of Costco says, and I quote, "There are many things that cause inflation." He is saying this because he is seeing higher labor costs, higher freight costs, more demand for transportation, and delays in container storage and transfer. However, Costco isn't the only store that experienced this. It happened nationwide in all stores. Before 2020 and 2021, the average level of inflation was approximately 2% per annum. Currently, the rate of increase is about 3 to 10% more than the previous rate, and if this continues, individuals will be facing increasing challenges in sustaining themselves because their wages are not growing by 3 to 10% annually. In the famous words of Warren Buffett, it's just madness to keep on printing more money.
Problem with the minimum wage, raising the minimum wage, is that it takes people out of the labor force. I mean, a market economy is brutal in many ways. It's wonderful. I mean, it's created this country and done wonders for the country overall. But if you set a minimum wage that's too high for the abilities of the person that the market has to hire, all you've done is driven them from employment.
Like Buffett said, increase in minimum wage brings about a significant labor shortage, and this is resulting in an increase in prices. This is also due to the fact that companies are not only required to provide a fair wage, but they also have to contend with the competition posed by individuals who are receiving unemployment benefits. This particular situation can be likened to a double-edged sword due to its dual nature. On one side, individuals may argue that this implies companies are not providing adequate compensation, thereby necessitating a fair wage for employees to sustain themselves. Consequently, it may be deemed more favorable for them to remain at home. On the contrary, if an individual is situated in their residence and receiving financial support from the government, it implies that the government is compelled to engage in the process of printing additional currency. This in turn leads to an increase in inflation, subsequently resulting in a rise in the prices of goods and services. Also, the escalation in prices also exerts upward pressure on wage costs. Although the increase in wage costs can be viewed as a positive development since individuals are able to earn higher incomes. However, if companies are required to allocate more funds towards selling and manufacturing their products, this will inevitably result in an increase in the prices of goods and services. But companies have found a strategy that helps them keep their price point by reducing the size of their products. So, when you go into a store, you end up purchasing smaller cans of beverages or thinner rolls of paper towels for the same price. Know that this is the result of inflation. Like one Warren Buffett best quote, "To profit, you need to look at market fluctuations as your friend rather than your enemy." And one thing that saves you from inflation is converting the currency that you possess into an asset that will experience an increase in worth because of inflation.
They're the businesses that you buy once, and then you don't have to keep making capital investments subsequently. So you do not face the problem of continuous reinvestment involving greater and greater dollars because of inflation. That's one reason real estate in general is good during inflation.
Like Warren Buffett said, you need to invest your dollars in an alternative asset that does not experience a decline in value and involves making a capital investment. By doing so, you can ensure that the price of the asset you possess remains stable or rises, despite the drop in the value of dollars. Let's talk about real estate, for example. If you were to purchase a residential property with the intention of residing in it, it would become their new home. This property will serve as an investment and rental property. Now, as you proceed with the purchase of this home, your plan should be to rent it out to another individual if you choose to reside elsewhere. Now imagine discovering a couple in need and graciously renting it out to them for a monthly sum of $5,000. Because you possess this tangible asset, you are receiving a stream of income. Apart from the stream of income, let's say you purchase this property for $300,000. With the current rate of inflation, it's safe to say that this property will appreciate to a value of $400,000 in the future. When you make the decision to purchase a property, it is crucial to recognize that you are simultaneously creating a new source of income. This income stream can be passive if you follow the correct approach. By renting out the property to a tenant, they will consistently provide you with monthly payments in exchange for residing in your property. If you are able to execute this task accurately, the amount that you will be receiving on a monthly basis will cover your property taxes and property insurance, while also providing you with surplus funds on a monthly basis.
Well, the businesses that will perform the best are the ones that require little capital investment to facilitate inflationary growth.
The second method through which one can benefit from inflation is by acquiring ownership in companies that are currently selling products. According to Warren Buffett, the best type of business to invest in is one that needs a little to no capital investment to facilitate their growth. When you choose to invest in stocks, you are essentially purchasing a portion of ownership in a particular company. For instance, if you were to acquire a single share of Apple, Microsoft, Berkshire Hathaway, or any other desired company, you would effectively become one of the owners of said company with the ownership of a single share, but this doesn't give you the authority to dictate the actions of the company. However, you are entitled to a portion of the profits generated by the company when it experiences financial growth. Another option to consider is investing in cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are characterized by a high level of speculation and a large number of traders, resulting in significant market volatility. Therefore, when discussing its role as a hedge against inflation, cryptocurrency does have its merits. The fundamental concept behind cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin, is that they cannot be created arbitrarily, but instead must be mined through labor-intensive processes. This limited supply is what contributes to the value of these coins. However, it is important to note that the value of cryptocurrency extends beyond their use as a mere currency. The underlying blockchain technology and the practical applications of cryptocurrencies add further value, making their assessment as a currency somewhat challenging. Lastly, invest in commodities, such as gold. Now, this particular investment differs from your other investments as it does not generate additional value. Instead, it primarily serves as a means to preserve and store value. Unlike our currency, which can be printed at will, gold cannot be replicated in the same manner. Like Warren Buffett said, gold won't do anything between now and then except look at you. So, when purchasing gold, you must understand that its purpose lies in its ability to retain value over time rather than its capacity to generate additional value. But if you ask me about what I think, I believe it's better to focus on establishing your cash flow and exploring other investment opportunities before acquiring gold. Finally, you need to watch out for the possibility of a housing market bubble, a stock market bubble, and an economic bubble that can be building up. With a lot of money being printed, and at the same time, people having extra money because of stimulus checks and unemployment benefits, there is extra cash lying around which people are using to invest and boost the market. However, this situation won't last forever. Eventually, people will have to start making mortgage and student loan payments again. When that happens, they'll have less money to spend on shopping and investing. This means fewer people will have money to put in the market to spend freely. Now, imagine we reach a point where prices are really high, but people's disposable income is low. There will be a discrepancy. People will find it harder to go out and shop, which could lead to companies making less money. If interest rates also go up during this time, it will be less attractive for people to buy homes. This could bring housing prices back down. Like Warren Buffett said, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. You need to be aware of the risk involved. Yes, there's a chance of a market crash or correction in the future, but no one knows when or how big it will be. So, when you make investment decisions, make sure you're not putting in any more money than you're willing to lose. Remember, if prices do come down, it could be an opportunity for you to buy at a discounted price. There are risks involved, no doubt about it, but I want you to understand those risks and make your investment decisions accordingly.